Hey, my Love is Blind fans. Yes, guess what? We are back with another season to talk about. The first 5 episodes are up, and we got to recap everything that went down. First, just to give you a highlight, the pods are now officially over. We have 2 young ladies that are deemed to be the mean girls this season. And then all of our couples who got engaged did not last through the entire season. Welcome back to Romance Review TV. It's Lady T. I got another recap for you guys. Love is Blind, Season 4, Episode 1 through 5. And without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on this season. So, the first 5 episodes, as I mentioned before, of Season 4 is now streaming on Netflix. So, if you haven't checked it out, it's up. Go ahead and see. But if you have, let's talk about what happened. So, 5 couples fell in love. They got engaged to each other without ever seeing their fiancés. Now, they all put a ring on it only after days of conversation separated by that wall in the pods. And then the 5 couples then headed off to Mexico for a romantic vacation to get to know one another in person. Now, fans, if you've already saw in episode number 5, Paradise Lost, not all of the couples who got engaged is going to last through the season. But here are the 5 couples who left the pods together as we start season 4. So, Tiffany and Brett, by far my favorite couple. They were one of the first couples to get engaged, despite Tiffany having that ill-time nap. She almost lost out because it looked like Brett was just about to be done. We did see during their trip to Mexico, they also seemed to be the most well-adjusted couple and drama-free couple of the entire group. But we're still only in the first 5 episodes. The question is, will that honeymoon period last between the 2 of them? But hey, I'm looking forward to see what happened with these 2. So then we have Chelsea and Kwame. Now, remember, you guys who've already watched the episodes, Kwame was dumped in the pods by his first choice, Micah. Well, he refocused and pivoted his efforts to Chelsea. Now, they ultimately got engaged, left the pods together, but Kwame clearly still wasn't over Micah. So during that pool party in Mexico, Micah joked about Kwame taking a shot to their failed proposal, which visibly upset him. And then Micah's apology turned into a very flirty and prolonged conversation with a lot of unnecessary physical touch that pissed Chelsea off as she's watching from afar. And I mean, the question is, can Kwame let his love for Micah go, or will Chelsea pretty much reach her limit on feeling like she's second choice? So speaking of Micah, we have Micah and Paul, and in the pod, she fell for Kwame first and fast, which resulted in some pretty mean girl behavior toward Chelsea in the woman's living quarters as they both dated the same guy. But it was that whole slow burn love story with Paul that she felt was ultimately right for her. Now, after Micah dumped Kwame, she was all in with Paul, and they got engaged and left the pods together. And with the honeymoon in Mexico, Micah and Paul seem to be getting closer than ever. However, remember that flirty behavior with Kwame at the pool party made it very clear that she was still harboring some feelings for him as well. The question is, will that whole slow burn with Paul turn into an I do, or will Micah change her mind and go back to Kwame? So next is Jackie and Marshall. Now, Jackie is another woman who had to choose between 2 men in the pods, which almost ignited a whole fight between those men in the living quarters. Now, the season really got off to a messy start with that happening, and ultimately, Jackie decided that Marshall was a better fit for her than Josh because Marshall was unlike any other man that she's ever dated before. Marshall and Jackie got engaged and left the pods together, but their Mexican vacation was more of a nightmare than a paradise. Now, while a lot of the details of what caused Jackie's meltdown was kind of vague, she got upset while cryptically talking about her family not being perfect and how she's scared of losing Marshall when they got home. She ended up sobbing in the closet while he stood helplessly outside of it, not knowing what to do. And the honeymoon period didn't even last through the honeymoon for these two. The question, though, is can they work things out when they get back home to Seattle? So our last couple to get engaged is Irina and Zach. Now, this time it was the man deciding between two choices. Bliss was also in the running for his heart. That resulted in some more than mean girl behavior in the women's living quarters as Irina made fun of Bliss for baking cupcakes for Zach's birthday, only to then proceed to ask Bliss if she could have some of those candles Bliss had gotten so she could give a birthday surprise to Zach too. Things got tense, but Bliss took the high road and smoothed things over with Irina and to make things easier on Zach as well. But Zach, who had no idea what was really going on outside the pods, ended up dumping Bliss and choosing Irina after the most uncomfortable serenade Zach proposed, of course, to Irina. However, things then went downhill for these two the second they saw each other in person. Irina was visibly not attracted to Zach and said it to his face that he's creepy and looked like a cartoon character who needs to blink more. Now, to his credit, he tried to take it as a compliment and give their engagement a shot, but she absolutely did not mean it that way. She refused to let him kiss her and admitted to the camera that she thought he would be a little bit more normal. Then Mexico. Their relationship went from slightly uncomfortable to downright disaster. Irina avoided Zach at all costs, both physically and emotionally. And despite his best efforts to make the best of a bad situation, they finally called it quits on the last night of their vacation. And they both started laughing about how horrible this whole experience had been for the both of them. Irina admitted that she actually wants to be with Paul, even though she's engaged to her BFF, Micah. Now, Zach was horrified to see Irina's true character come out. And when he got home to Seattle, he reached out to Bliss to see if she would considering talking to him again. So it left us with that cliffhanger in episode 5 where Bliss actually does meet up with Zach and he tells her that they both know he made the wrong choice. The question is, will Zach be able to win Bliss back? So let's get the conversation started down in the comment section. Do you think Micah and Kwame can actually keep themselves from each other? What about this whole situation with Bliss and Zach? Do you think Bliss is going to now take him back, or will she feel like, no, I'm being chosen second? And then what about our favorite couple, Brett and Tiffany? Do you think that they can go all the way to the end to make it to the altar? So I hope you enjoyed this recap. Stay tuned for other recaps and updates on this channel. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.